kicking rocks out here on the chain gang, 'cause I've been convicted of a crime. So hold it steady right there while I hit it. Well, I reckon that ought to get it. I've been working and working, but I still got so terribly far to go. Hello out there, I want to welcome you to the second annual Community Service Awards. My name is Reginald, and I am president of Gumbo Associates, which is an organization designed to keep kids out of prison. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to let you know that I'm at the 77th Police Station on Broadway, and I'm going to be talking to Regina Scott, who is Deputy Chief of the Los Angeles Police Department. Excuse me while these people come in. I don't know them already. We're going to be talking about some of the things she's done over her career. She's a veteran. She's in law enforcement. She's a family woman. And so this is going to be a really very, very powerful interview that I'm going to have with her. I think you're going to get an opportunity to see Mrs. Scott talk about some things or share with us about some things that we don't normally get an opportunity to hear from. So with that said, come on with me, because I'm about to go inside and talk to one of the most important black women here in Los Angeles, California. Come on in with me. Hey Scott, I'm good. Good to
Hey, how are you doing?
Good to see you. Listen. I got a couple things to say. First of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity. Plus, you know, we're going to get you in the game over here for to see how good you are, because you told me you could play, right?
Absolutely, I can play. Okay, don't talk nothing.
But more importantly, I just want to say that I'm grateful for this opportunity, because I always wanted to come to jail and get out the same day.
Okay,
So
all right. We can oblige you on that one. So are you ready to play?
I'm ready to roll. So
Okay,
let's get to going.
You've been promising me this whole time that we're gonna play some chess.
Okay, Miss Scott, make your move. Do what you do.
Make my first move.
Yeah, make your first move.
Let me take a look at this one. Let's see. I'm assuming it's this one.
Okay. That's all right. That's decent. That's decent.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you something though.
Okay.
I've been wanting to ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. I see on this movie, right? It was called G.I. Jane.
Oh, I remember that.
Okay,
yeah,
right?
I do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in the movie, she's in the Marines, right?
Right. Exactly.
And so, you know, it's a long story about, you know, why she went in there and everything. But there's a scene where she's going through boot camp. And, you know, then there's another scene where she's actually fighting these guys. I mean, she's fighting a man. And
Right,
he's treating her like a man.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
And I was saying, you know, damn. You know, they ain't taking no prisoners with this boot camp stuff. You know what I'm saying? She, you know, she's got her hands full, you know. And then I saw another movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was called The General's Daughter, and
Okay.
it was with John Travolta, I think.
It sure
right?
was.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And in that movie, the general has a daughter, and she gets raped, right? And so the general covers it up,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I read your biography, and it dawned on me after I was reading your biography that you had been in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to myself, now why in the world would this lady, after all the good stuff she's going through, you know, your accomplishments in school and all that, why would you go in a place where there's discrimination, racism, prejudice, and the mere fact that they don't like women, period. This has always been a man thing with this Army stuff, right? So
Okay.
my question to you is,
Okay.
why in the world did you go in the Army?
Okay, well, you know, it's pretty simple. I mean, I think you named all the things that is happening in society. I think that's already there. So the racism, opportunities, not having the opportunities for African American women, just the struggle. And the military for me, with all the things that they were going through, it was an opportunity for me. It was an opportunity for me to travel. It was an opportunity for me to grow. It was an opportunity for me to learn. It was an opportunity for me to take an environment that I was in that was very unhealthy during that time and move into something else. And it was an opportunity for this challenge. Now, you mentioned those two movies, but I'm a little older than you think, Reggie. So when I came on, all those things were not an opportunity for a woman. So when I came on, I went in the Army, it was the Women's Army Corps. We hadn't integrated. Women couldn't go to the boot camp that you saw. We weren't in those military occupational skills. So I think part of my transition in that was to go into the Army and show them where we were, that women can do anything if you give us the opportunity. So during my time in the military, that was a time of the transition. So we transitioned from the Women's Army Corps. We integrated during that time. And then during that time, that's when they allowed occupations that women were no longer traditionally allowed to do, that we can go into. And now a woman can do pretty much anything in it. We couldn't do combat. Literally, when I first came on in the military, they taught us how to dress, how to manicure ourselves. We marched around with a dress and high heels and
really.
And
you didn't have a uniform in it.
We had one, but we did not use it for that. And then we had that transition, and then that's when we went back to boot camp. So I think part of why I went was for opportunity. It was for growth, and it was for an opportunity to see the world that I did not believe I could do in an environment where I think most people grew. We weren't rich. And you had to deal with all the things that the military is doing in the real world. But they promised me an adventure. And since they promised me an adventure, I was all in.
I want you.
Absolutely. And I was like, you have me. So it was,
that's great.
And it was wonderful. It provided, it gave me the confidence and the self-confidence that I could know that if I can get through this, there is nothing else in this world that I wouldn't be able to do.
That's something that
It's your move. I know you try to ask all these questions. Try to ask all these questions.
I was just checking.
Okay, go ahead.
I was checking.
What you got? What you got?
Okay. I'm gonna go right here. All right. Now, so okay, I've been doing this. I'm pretty tough. You know what I'm saying? So I'll let you. Okay. So
you're gonna go there.
Okay. So what you gonna do?
Okay, let me figure out what I'm supposed to be doing here, because if you go there, I want to say my move could be here.
That's decent. That's decent. That's decent. Let me. Well, okay, I got another question, because I was just tripping on that deal. Let me ask you this, because I'm really, you answered a question that I have been thinking about, and it seems to me that, once you joined the service, like you said, it seemed like it made you ready, as you say, there wasn't too many challenges left. So is that, did that decision preempted you to decide to go into law enforcement? I mean, did you, okay, let me see if I got it right. Okay, you decide I'm going in the Army, right? Because there's opportunities there. Did you see joining law enforcement in the same light that, because to me, the Army prepared you to be able to come into law enforcement because almost the same things existed. You know what I'm saying? The same discrimination, the same, this is a man's world, you understand what I'm saying? And you decide, okay, so I went over here and I was able to do that and accomplish that, so I went over there. So is that pretty much one of the reasons why you became a cop?
Absolutely not, right? So
really?
I'll tell you why I became a cop. Okay, I'll tell you why I became a cop. So When I was younger, you know, my dad, back east they did this thing called number running. Now it's called the lottery, but it was a whole different environment, right?
Yeah.
And my dad was he was well known, very well respected, but he was also feared and revered in our little community. And I didn't get to see him that often, you know. So he had some issues, and so I remember one time I was young.
Okay.
And I remember, I've never seen my father afraid of anything. I've never seen my father want to do right, ever. He lived his life.
Kind of cat.
Exactly, he was a cat. He lived a life, and whatever happened, happened. So I remember standing behind a bar, and there were some people there, and at the time I didn't really understand what was going on because I was maybe about 8 years old. And I had visitation, so I was able to come in and see them. Then all of a sudden, he was there, and everyone's showing respect, and they're bringing him gifts and stuff, and everything is great. And then I hear whoop, 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 and then I see the police roll through. And what I saw in my father was, for the first time, fear, respect. I'm not sure what that was. I saw my father take off and run. So much. He left me. I'm an 8-year-old kid, and he left me there.
Sound like my cup of tea.
Yeah, so he did all of that. He did that, and then I think it was like a couple of days later, well, I finally met up with him. And when he got back, he said to me, he says, "I'm going to be a better man." He said, "Because what happened there, I should not be putting my daughter in that kind of position."
Right. Okay.
And at that moment, I said,
That was
"Oh my
heartfelt.
God. I want to be a police officer, because if I can change lives and perspective on someone, that's the kind of power." Problem was, Reggie, they didn't want me. There were no opportunities for African American females that looked like me to be a part of that this organization.
Right.
So you're talking 31 years ago. This organization did not look like I look, and just to show you the proof. The first African American woman ever hired for the Los Angeles Police Department was in 1916, and then 1919. That's almost 100 years ago. So it took 100 years for one to get hired, and then it took another 100 years for another African American female, which is myself, to be promoted to the rank, the highest ranking in the Los Angeles Police Department, and be promoted to be the first deputy chief. So my mission was, I've always wanted to, but the department, there was no one on the department that looked like me. There was no one on the department, even when I came on, that was in position of power. There was no one in the department when I came on that was a captain and that was a commander or a deputy chief. So then my mission changed, and part of that was to change that, because I also knew and recognized that as you climb up to those ranks, you have the ability to influence and to make change and do the difference. And so that, if at the end of the day, and I leave here and I have a legacy, I hope they remember me as someone who pushed through the glass ceiling. But as I was pushing and moving and climbing up and standing on those that came, on the shoulders of those that came before me, I also stopped. I took a moment. I reached down and I pulled everyone that was down up with me, so that when I did make it to this table or in this office and in this position, that I didn't arrive by myself.
All right.
Okay?
Okay, I got that.
You gonna move your horse? I'm gonna move my horse.
Well, okay.
Well, you know what?
You want to take that back? If you want.
I do. Let me think where I need to go.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I need to go here.
Well, let me ask you this though. Cause I just think about this here. As a cop, okay, you're already a nice person.
Okay.
Let me give you a scenario.
Okay. Go ahead.
Me and you's cops.
Mm-hmm.
Can you believe that?
All right. We can all dream. Come on. We can all have a dream.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we're in the car together, right?
Okay.
Okay, so we get a call. Officer down. Right? Okay, so I said, okay, Scotty, let's go. So So we go to a spot, right? I said, okay, let's, Scott, I'm going to the front, you go in the back. Okay, so have you ever been in a situation similar to that, where you had to pull out your gun, maybe had to shoot somebody, it was a dangerous situation? I cannot imagine that all the years you've been in the police force, that you didn't come across any kind of dangerous situation. You ever came across a dangerous situation?
You know what, I think all police officers have, right? And not from splitting up, because one of the things we do, we don't really split up, but I think probably the most scariest thing that I came in, and I'm very fortunate I didn't have to use my weapon. It's just a grace of God that was there. But it was something similar, and it was a burglar investigation that we came in. So as we're searching the house and we're looking to see, we come with an open door, right? And we hear some noise inside. So we're asking for backup, and in the meantime we hear, right? So we're thinking,
we hear
like a whining noise. So we think that there's either someone in there that's asking for help or that is in danger. So we formulated a plan to go inside, and we go inside of the option. When we get in there is a gentleman with his wife, and he's got a gun to her head, right?
Really?
And he's pointing it to her, and he's pointing, but what you could see is that he was intoxicated.
Okay.
So I was nervous because we breached the door.
What were you at the time? You was just regular cop? Was you?
That's a regular cop.
Okay.
Yeah, and in Hollywood division and
okay.
So we breached the door. We looked at the situation. There was this gentleman with a weapon in his hand. I think where the opportunity for us to make a difference is that we work in pairs. And we separate, and we don't separate, but we work in pairs, and where one is contact officer and one's cover. And so as I stepped in, I was like, gun. And my partner is but I know he's probably thinking, who's she talking to? Because the way we did it, my partner had cover. And so my partner had the ability to draw their weapon, give them the commands that they needed, talk to them about, live another day, really showing some compassion, and whatever is happening with your wife, we can work through this.
Right.
And then he put his weapon down, and all things ended the way it should have been. But, because that job is so dangerous, when just walking through the door and going through, if he wanted to.
He could have shot both of you guys.
Well, he could have definitely shot me. I think my partner was in a better position than me because I had taken the lead for the entry. So and I say that, and I like this story because what we do now in our change, we do try to talk to people and take a look at their scenario and the totality of it. And I am so proud of my men and women that work with Operation South Bureau. You never want to be in a situation where you have to make those decisions where you're taking someone's life. And in the past, we have not done such a good job at that. It's always been about officer safety and us first. Where I see now with my officers, they are now policing with passion. They're policing with empathy. They have purpose in what they're doing. They're making sure that they're slowing down. And I want to say that times have changed. This is not 30 years ago, 3 decades now. This is the new police. And I know there's a history between the community and the police. But at what point do we get to a time where we begin to heal, begin to forgive, and begin to start anew? And I say to myself, I am your chief for South Bureau. And if it does not start with us, and if it doesn't start now, then when? So if we can't do it, and we can't do it together as the community and the police, then it can't be done. So I'm really looking forward to being the chief in South Bureau. Hopefully I'll end my career here. And that between myself, the officers, and the community, that we really save lives.
I'm happy to hear you say that, because I want people to recognize and realize that, first of all, you're not a token. I think by telling these people out here today what you've gone through, I think it sets the stage for people to know that you earned what you got. It wasn't like somebody said, oh, well, let's use Scott. I mean, she's been here for a while just because. No. I don't get that having talked to you. That's why I wanted to ask you about the Army. And now that I've heard you say that, it makes me know that I'm proud and happy to be here with you, because you know, you're a fantastic person, because when I was a kid, first of all, and I tell people this all the time, you wasn't driving no buses.
Right.
And you wasn't no mailman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you wasn't running for president. That's definitely, you know, that was out. So look how far you've come. You know, look, and I'm, you know, and I don't want to get too far racial. You know, we as black men, we kind of dropped the baton. You know, we've given you babies, you know what I'm saying, and left you. You know what I'm saying? But you push forward. You know what I mean? You say, you know what, okay, when he gets himself together, you know, I'll be here. But meanwhile, I ain't gonna sit around and wait for you to get yourself together. You know, only God knows when you're gonna get yourself together. But at the same time, it's important for me to do what I gotta do, because I gotta be in the society too. So, you know, I see it, and I'm very proud, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, you and Barbara Morrison have so much in common. You know, you've done so much, which we're gonna see, you know, later on. I gotta talk to her too. And I think you two have, you know, giving back to the community. You've given back so much, Scott. I'm so proud to be sitting here. I've talked to women, pastors, regular folks. They all know you. They all know your name, ma'am. Your name rings around this town. There are a lot of people that say they don't know you. Some of them say, I really don't know her, but I know of her. So I'm gonna give you a slight break, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna move that right there. And that queen, you was in trouble. You're in big trouble right now. How you like that? So it's
I'm
your
glad you're not a betting man, but I'm just gonna move my queen, because you know Regina stands for Regina, stands for queen. Just so you know that. So I got you there. Check. Oh, wait, whoa. I got you there. Checkmate.
You tricked me, Miss Scott.
You're trying to go after the queen.
I'm just, no, you know, all them questions and stuff, you know, you made me feel happy about everything. I'm done here. Listen, this is the end of this video. I don't got too much more to say. She's a true champion. She's shown me. I got a lot of explaining to do to the Chess Federation. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to explain how does I let this, but it's cool. I'm cool. I want to thank you for the. I don't even want to thank you for the game, but I'm happy to know a lot more about you than I did before. I felt, you know, people have come up to me when I talk to them about this ceremony. Excuse me, and people have said, Mr. Davin, what's going to make your ceremony any different from any other event that Mrs. Scott has been presented or talked about? What's going to be different? I mean, Mrs. Scott has been around. You know, a lot of people have acknowledged her accomplishments and, you know, spoke well of her. What's going to make yours different? I said, well, I think if I ask her a couple of questions that I would want to know, I think she's going to take an opportunity to really zero in and explain why she under armed services. Now we know. Now we know why you became a police officer. Now we know, and I can't speak for them, I feel as though you're on deck. You're in a position where you can seriously make a shift. There's only one person higher than you. There's only one cat that's above you, and that's Michael Moore. Am I correct? Is Mr. Chief Moore?
We have assistant chief, so there's one.
Oh, there's one more cat?
Yeah, Chief, my boss, which is Chief Bobby Robert Arkles.
Okay, there's only one cat though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, like you top dog here, boss. I mean, you know, I'm saying, you know, like that's a great accomplishment. You know, you got four stations, right?
I do have
we got four police stations. So we're gonna be trying to do chess programs at some of those stations. But I mean, that's a lot of responsibility. You know, you got this one, you got some where we are. You got Southeast. I met Mr. Hill at Southeast. I met another officer whose name I can't remember at Southwest. And then I went all the way to Harbor. I drove all the way down to Harbor to talk to them about it. And like every place else, they're looking, you know, they're happy you're sitting on board with them. They're looking forward to making some great changes in there. I think what you're doing is excellent, you know, so important. So I want to thank you for this opportunity.
Thank
You know what I'm
you.
saying? I hope the viewers out there, I hope the people in the videos have really gotten a different impression. Well, they always had an impression, but I think now, I think they see a little more than they saw before. Joking.
I'm glad.
I was just joking. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Ms. Scott, thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
See you guys later.
All right.
Boom. We're out.
Okay. It's a little long, so you're gonna have to cut
Yeah,
that
yeah, we
to
gonna
bejesus, right? 'Cause,
yeah, it's going to be long. Great.